Good afternoon, Council. I'd like to call this regular council meeting of June 9th, 2026 to order with adoption of the agenda. Someone want to make a motion for me? Councilor Devlin, Councilor Palmer, all in favor? Motion's carried. Adoption of the minutes of the regular council meeting of May 26th. Councilor Devlin, Councilor Cherry.
So just looking for clarification here.
Okay.
Under 11A, non-market housing and land disposition. Just want to make sure that everybody, this is the opposed are correctly reflected here. It says Councilor Orlando and Councilor Stapenhurst.
Comments from Councilor? Were you opposed to those two? Or were you two opposed to that one? 11 what? A?
11A.
So I'm just trying to track it down.
Request for proposal status update, non-market housing and land disposition.
Yeah, I can go ahead and answer. I'll still be remaining opposed to it. As previously discussed with Councilor Cherry, we had a private conversation. I think my points are have been stated. I'm happy to share them with the balance of council if so desired. Otherwise, happy to move forward.
Okay, Councilor Stapenhurst, sure, if you could just say why you were opposed.
Yeah. So my understanding of the non-market housing, I think overall my concern with the non-market housing and land disposition, my concerns is that we don't have any current data reflecting the vacancies in the market as collected by the city, and that our latest or our most recent housing policy goes back to 2024, which I don't think reflects the current market housing demands. So that's kind of a really brief summary of that. I'm happy to dive more into details if so desired.
Okay, appreciate that. Councilor Orlando confirming that you were opposed?
I'm trying to understand the question, if I may, to the chair.
Just clarification, if you were opposed, is that not?
Yeah, I'm just
your
trying to
question?
see if that was reflected properly.
So the question was, you thought that the vote, what
Thought you
was
were-
voted was different,
Yeah.
and that I don't think it is.
Okay, so you were okay.
And any comment on your opposition, Councilor? Just asking.
Why, I don't think it's normal procedure
No,
to
that's
go
fine.
over the minutes of a meeting, question that there was errors in there, discover
leave
that
it
there
at
were
that.
not errors
Thank
in there,
you.
and then request a
Thank
statement
you.
on that.
I'll leave it at that,
Doesn't make sense to
Councilor.
me.
Thank you. Now I'm going to ask for, that clarification's been done. I will ask for adoption of those minutes. Councilor Ryan.
Just before that, I wanted to follow up, Mayor Sells, Councilor Palmer had contacted me on the weekend out of concern regarding a unannounced trip to Alberta by some council members and other community members, and had wanted to know if I knew about it. I didn't. We had been back and forth, and subsequently, Chief Administrator Officer Parliament had sent out an email with a report. That is not yet on the Committee of the Whole report. My understanding is going to the open meeting on Committee of the Whole. So prior to discussing that, I just want to confirm, since it has not yet been published on the Thursday meeting that we're having, that will be open for discussion in the open meeting on Thursday.
Just for a point of clarity, sir, if I may, we're still discussing the adoption of the minutes from the regular council meeting of May 26, 2026, and I'm not seeing how this is,
So let's get through this adoption of the minutes and then you're prepared to answer that question?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to get through this. So do you have any more comment on the minutes?
I know, just a simple question is it will be in the report be in the open meeting on Committee of the Whole?
The answer is yes. It will be part of the delegation led by one of the attendees, Kevin Dorius from Community Futures, talking about the proposed local initiative on fundraising, and I will also be presenting at that time in an open.
My request would be that would be separate, because we have a delegation from the Community Futures representative, but they are not responsible for setting up, paying for, budgeting, approving and conducting this tour to Alberta. So my thought would be that this should be a separate item of discussion, because ultimately the delegate does not bear responsibility for the decisions. Is that something we can have assurance on?
The presentation by Kevin.
You do it.
Yeah, we're getting way off track.
I just, so there's a motion on the table to adopt the minutes. I'm not seeing.
Did I
relevancy.
get somebody to first and second that motion? I did. All right. I'm going to call the question on that motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Note that Councillor Orlando is opposed to adopting the minutes of the regular council meeting of May 26, 2026. Any business arising from those minutes? Councillor Palmer.
No, I'll leave it alone. Thanks.
Seeing none, I'm going to go on to announcements from the mayor. I have a couple things here. So Canada Day Parade again is coming up July 1st. 12:30 kids bike decorating at Grizzly Plaza. 1 p.m. the Canada Day Parade, which will go from the courthouse to Queen Elizabeth Park. 2 p.m. is the community celebration at Queen Elizabeth Park. The Revelstoke Highlanders and Shuswap Pipes and Drums will be there. Shoestring Necktie is a performer at 3 p.m. There'll be cupcakes, food vendors, face painting, entertainers, kids zone, Bouncy Castle, beer garden. So for those who are interested, you can volunteer or register a parade float at rbst.ca/Canada Day or email prc@revelstoke.ca for more information. Also, the FIFA World Cup pre-Revelstoke event coming up June 18th and 24th. Community watch parties hosted by RYSA at the Revelstoke Forum, and check out their website for more information. And June 22nd, Canada celebrates FIFA World Cup 2026 fan experience event at Centennial Park, coordinated by Tourism Revelstoke. Check out crevelstoke.com for more information. Both events are proudly supported by the city of Revelstoke. All right, we're going to move on to items on the agenda. Item 8A, recommendation from committee, general local election advertising. So that was a governance committee recommendation that we determine content, or staff determine content and frequency of print newspaper advertising for the local election. So does somebody want to put that motion on and we can discuss it? Councilor Palmer.
Yeah, I move that the chief election officer and deputy chief election official be authorized to determine the content and frequency of print newspaper advertising for the 2026 general local election, in addition to public notice requirements in the public notice bylaw number 2422. If there's a seconder has further comments.
Okay, someone will second that. Councilor Devlin, comments. Councilor Palmer.
Thank you, Mayor Souls. I think it's fairly self-evident, the motion that's on the table. I did have questions at the governance committee about commitment to print advertising. It was certainly my position, and I was wondering if this was strong enough. But it's inferred in there, and I think it's really important in today's media to be, like, there's a number of reasons to have advertising in print. One is it's important that our local businesses are doing well, including the media area. Not that that's the purpose behind that, but it's important. And then more importantly, there's a lot of people that aren't on social media or other platforms that do read print, and it's important to have that public service. Thank you, Mayor Souls.
Okay. Any other comments? Councilor Lennon.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Souls. A question for staff. The report references newspaper advertising, sometimes singular, sometimes plural. I was wondering what the plan is for locally. Is it just is it based on the 2 weeks in a row thing from the government, or I know that there's been multiple changes over the years on that.
Ms. Wood?
Thank you, Councillor Orlando through Mayor Sauls. The 2 weeks published in newspaper is no longer applicable in this case because we do have the public notice bylaw.
Mhm.
However, staff recognize that print advertising is important for this particular event. Depending on what advertisements they are and when publication is, will determine whether or not we advertise in more than one newspaper. So for example, if we put out the notice of nominations, if we can only get it in one paper because the time is limited, then we'll do it in one. If there's the opportunity for the monthly paper printing for it to meet that, we'll do both.
Yeah, just a follow-up. Numbers are very different. If the goal is to reach as many people as possible in different formats, there's been a lot of change over the years in what the actual audited circulation of things are. And I think from just a marketing perspective, it's great to keep that in mind from the city in terms of what the actual impact will be in terms of numbers.
All right. Any other comments? And then I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on to item 9A, election procedures. Someone want to put that motion on the table for me, Councilor Lucero?
I move that election procedures in the Senate voting amendment bylaw number 2443 be adopted.
Second for the motion, please, Councilor Devlin. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, I'll call a question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Moving on to communications. 13, Advisory Planning Commission. Councilor Cherry, you have comment on the minutes.
Just getting it open here. All right, so we had a Bill 60 consultant update, conversation regarding density bonusing and inclusionary zoning. The next, we looked at an OCP and zoning amendment, which includes an OCP amendment and rezoning application to allow for the development of a golf maintenance facility and clubhouse from the Cabot Golf Course. The proposal included an amendment to the Revelstoke Mountain Resort Development Permit Area to include the subject property, which will require a development permit application for form of character of future development on the subject property. It included the existing accessory buildings located on site and fronting Nickel Road, which are intended to be preserved and will be used for a maintenance facility for storage, maintenance, and repair of daily course equipment, and the clubhouse, which is to include, though these may change at permitting stage, outdoor access washrooms, storage, retail, restaurants, and indoor recreation activities, including bowling lanes and virtual golf. The committee were supportive in its current form. Lastly, we looked at merging, again, continued conversation about merging the APC and the Heritage Committee, and there's been general support for the merging of the commissions, embedding a social lens to the background recommended in section 5.2 and allowing for one individual from the CSRD Area B to be permitted as part of the commission.
Okay. Any comments from council? Seeing none, thank you, Councilor. Moving on to item B, Tourism Revelstoke penned a letter supporting the adoption of option 4, proposed short-term rental bylaw framework. Any comments from council on that? Councilor Stiggers and Councilor Palmer.
Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity to thank Councilor Devlin for his communication with the Tourism Revelstoke in regards to this matter. I believe that he really framed the conversation well when I was attending the board meeting, and I greatly appreciate hearing from Tourism Revelstoke regarding this option. So thank you so much.
Councilor Palmer.
The same plus this, I'm assuming this letter will also be on the agenda that we're addressing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll bring it to the special meeting.
Right. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other comments, we'll move on. Youth Advisory Committee, Council Lucille.
Thanks, Marcels. We had a presentation from Samantha Green, the youth liaison coordinator, just highlighting all of the programs she's running. The biggest one was the Shred Hers and Shred Co-ed, which has 89 youth biking at McPherson. Also, the $15,000 that they got through the Ready Grants, allowing the increase in program subsidies to increase from $350 to $450 per child. We talked about the fund and how it's grown over the years and the ability to support that, and then talked about her work plan for the 2026-2027 season. There's a new template that she was having to transfer things into, and just making sure that it was aligned with what she was actually able to do in her position. But it seems there might be some funding to add a couple extra hours, like office hours for her, to be able to better connect with the youth in the high school. And then we kind of had a roundtable with everybody that was there, just talking about how they're supporting the community.
Wonderful, thank you. Any comments from council? Seeing none, we'll move on to Social Development Committee, Council Lucille.
Thanks. So we had a kind of a report from Megan McCaskick and the project she's working on. The poverty reduction strategy being the biggest one, and then supporting the Indigenous Friendship Society with the Nice Canoe Journey, as well as their Makers Fair in June. We then talked about the BC Hydro housing update, as we had the council meeting the afternoon before that. Taha did an update on Downey Street and talked about the open house that was that happened on June 3rd. And then talked about changes within the primary care network, as funding for one of those positions had dropped 30%. So the Friendship Society is reassessing if they're able to take on that role.
So council, is there somebody from the PCN sitting on social development?
So Matt Lawson, the ED from Community Connections, sits on that board as well. So this was a change in policy with the primary care network that doesn't affect just ours, but is across all the primary care networks. So it is, we're not the only ones dealing with this funding cutback.
Okay, you stand. Thank you. Any comments from council? Seeing none, the RAMP program, the meeting was started, lack of quorum, so there's no comment on that. So, Ms. Delasal, do we have any questions from the press?
There are no questions from the press, Your Worship.
All right, thank you. I'd like to go in camera pursuant to section 90.1A and J of the Community Charter. Somebody want to make that motion for me? Councillor Devlin, seconded by Councillor Cherry. All in favor? Motion's carried. We'll come back. Let's take a brief break and come back in camera.